10,000 boomers turn 65 every single day. And now we're racing into the Gen Xers. The aging boom isn't coming, it's already here. And the people who move now, they're going to own the next $8 trillion market. In this 30-minute session, I'm going to show you exactly how to grab your share of it by partnering with proven brands, tapping into a skyrocketing need, and making a real and measurable impact while you're doing it. I've built numerous businesses, a nonprofit, and real communities around this wave because it's personal for me. And now it can be personal and profitable for you. Stay with me to the end because by the end of this, you're either going to be in or watching somebody else take the spot that you could have had. Well, my name is George Bentley, and I have one question for you. Why am I here today? And I want you to think about that because it's a very serious question. I was raised in rural Arkansas. I was raised in the home that my mother was born in. When I was young, I vividly remember my mother telling me, I was born in this house, I'm going to die in this house. And as a young kid, I thought, she's a little weird, right? And I ran off and did whatever kids do. Well, fast forward to August 6th, 2003. It is my parents' 59th wedding anniversary. At that time, they were both 83 years old. So let me give you a little juxtaposition here. My mom was healthy as a horse. She worked out 5 days a week. She had no illness problems, no prescriptions. I jokingly called her Nana Schwarzenegger. She loved it, right? She even took to wearing dark sunglasses and leather jackets, and every time she left the room, she'd go, I'll be back, right? Right? She was on top of it. My dad was on the other end of the spectrum. My dad at 83 was not healthy. 2-shot hips, had a condition called polymyalgia rheumatica. He'd been taking prednisone for years. He was depressed. When he was 82 years old, he started drinking again. And my sister and I are like, Dad's on a downward spiral. Well, Mom wanted to be clean for her husband on their anniversary. So she went through what we now know was a very stressful ritual for her. But the fact of the matter is, this was the day that we knew would come. She got in her bathtub, she bathed herself, she was done. She went to get herself out, and she couldn't. So I want to think about it. I'm going to spend maybe 10 seconds here with this, but I want you to think about this. Close your mind and your eyes and think about it. She couldn't get herself up. She struggled. She's pressing her arms against the sides of the tub, too slick, hurting her shoulders. She tries to grab the spout to pull herself up. Won't work. Soap dish, grabs it, comes off. She flailed and struggled, bruised herself for 30 minutes. And she was not going to, this is one of the things about as we age, I say the two biggest killers of seniors and baby boomers are ignorance and denial. My mom was not going to call her husband for help and embarrass herself on their wedding anniversary, right? She finally got this brainstorm. I know, I'll turn over, I'll climb up the back of the tub, and when I get up high enough, I'll push, and I'll stand up, and everything will be great. Well, it worked. It got her up, but then it didn't work, okay? She lost her balance, and she fell out of the tub, okay? And that started a process that we could no longer control. What you just saw happens every 8.5 seconds. Every 8.5 seconds, we have a baby boomer or somebody older than a baby boomer falling in their bathroom and injuring themselves. And what Jim said is spot on. Falls are killing more people than anything else. And we're going to chat about that a little bit today. But I want you to understand something. That moment changed everything. It changed everything. That marked the beginning of the end of my mother's life. It marked the beginning of another focus and process for my father that totally changed his life. And it marked the beginning of a new passion and purpose for me in my life. So Mom's rushed to the hospital. She's in pain. We'll help you out, honey. Let's give you a pain medication, right? My mom was a rapid metabolizer of this opioid-based pain medication, caused her to have a stroke. Bam, just like that. She lost 60% of her cognitive ability. So guess what? Now the hip was nothing. The hip was no longer the problem. And we have a situation in the United States today where the number one cause of death is what are called iatrogenic conditions or illnesses. Anybody know what that term means? These are illnesses or injuries that are caused by healthcare. Adverse drug reactions. That was my mom. She had an adverse drug reaction, stroke. Now she had, in effect, full-blown dementia. That is, it wasn't the same, but functionally she was the same. It's like she had full-blown Alzheimer's. And we lost control. Okay? It wasn't a day that she was back home. It was 6 weeks. More adverse drug reactions, series of small heart attacks, got an infection, MRSA infection, got bed sores, developed hospital psychosis, on and on and on. 6 weeks into, my sister and I, if we don't get mom out of the hospital, they're going to kill her. So we brought her home. And remember, I explained to you, my father, bless his heart, was not in a good state, but he rallied to take care of his wife. And I'm going to tell you right now, my mother's quality of life at that point was pretty damn close to zero. My dad's was even worse. Here he is being the primary caregiver. We're in rural Arkansas. We didn't have access to in-home care, people to help them out. So my dad rallied and he took care of mom. 9 months into this, I'm visiting my dad and he says, I just can't do it anymore. I can't. And I'm like, okay, Dad, I get it. What do we do? Mom goes to a nursing home. That's what happens. Now, let me tell you something. My mom went kicking and screaming. If you know people with dementia, Alzheimer's, they lose cognitive, they kind of tend to go to two ends of the spectrum. Some people are very docile and kind and sweet, and others are angry and bitter. And that was my mom. And she went kicking and screaming, why are you doing this to me? I hate you. My dad, 3 times every day, my mom begged my father, get me out of here. Why are you doing this to me? I hate you. What did I ever do to you? And we were in denial, remember? Oh, Mom, it's okay. You'll be all right. This is just temporary. And I think she knew better than that, okay? The day before my parents' 60th wedding anniversary, my phone rings, and it's my dad. And he says, we let her down. And I knew immediately what it meant, just from my childhood. Bam, that memory came back. I was born in this house, I'm going to die in this house. We let her down. She died alone in fear in a nursing home, all by herself. And I'm like, oh my God, how did we let this happen? But there was something else that happened in that moment. And that was my dad, having suffered through that with his beloved wife, he looked at me and said, George, I will never, ever, ever go into a nursing home. Never. You can find me dead in the backyard face down. You can find me in the recliner with a baseball game blaring. I don't care. I'm not going into a nursing home. And I'm like, Dad, I get it. I'm with you. So there was a shift that took place that moment. All right? And I realized that our homes that are supposed to be the castles of safety and sanctuary for us, especially as we age, they're not. They're not. So after that, my dad became very proactive about his aging. And he said, George, I need your help. So I got busy trying to help my dad live independently. I'm going to tell you right now, he made it to 102. That was 20 years. And my father didn't miss any of the bullets that come down the road as we age. He had cancer. He had heart surgery. He hurt him. He fell multiple times. All of these things happened, but we still had a very proactive what I call pro-aging attitude about what he was going through, and he rallied until he just flat wore out, okay? And I want you to understand this. My dad died at 102, lived independently the entire time. We didn't have caregivers taking care of him. He died in his own bed. His last words were literally, "I'm happy." He was a naval aviator, gave the thumbs up. A few minutes later, he was gone. And you know what I said? I said, that's what I want. That's what I want. No matter what that age is when I pass, I want to be vibrant. I want to be happy. I want to be healthy. And that started me on this process. And I'm telling you, that is the reason that I'm here today. Jim hit the nail on the head. The people that are passionate about this have had some kind of an experience. When you talk about that advertising, I call it fear-based advertising. I can see, if you watch CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, let me tell you something. Every 3 to 5 minutes, you're going to see a walking bathtub ad over and over and over again, right? That's fear-based advertising. The only reason it works, they see it all the time, doesn't mean anything to them, then something happens. Somebody falls, they can't get out of a nursing home. Something happens, they go, "Oh, Martha, look, a tub with a door in it. Maybe that'll help us." And they call, and they fall into that lead generation net that Jim was talking about. Every 8.5 seconds, somebody is falling and injuring themselves so badly they need medical care. All right, think of how many more multiples of that happen, and they get up and they don't actually go to the ER because of it, right? Many more. 30,000 people die from these injuries. Now, this is a 10-year-old statistic. I should have updated it for you. I'm sure it's significantly higher than this. We just passed through the baby boomer shit. And let me tell you something, Gen X, baby boomer, we still got thousands of people turning 65 every day, okay? Something else I found out, with that number of deaths from bathroom-related falls, that's 4 times more boomers and seniors dying from bathroom-related falls than die from automobile accidents. And we don't even talk about it. Now, I'm of an age, I remember when seatbelts came into the market, right? In the 60s. We had so many people injuring themselves and dying from automobile accidents, the government stepped in and regulated. You will wear your seatbelt or you'll get a ticket. And I'm telling you, where this market is headed, if we don't become proactive and pro-aging, we're going to be regulated. And I believe that quite seriously, and not that that's a bad deal. So let's talk about market. David asked me to talk about market. We have 20+ million built homes in the United States that are designed with the idea that we're going to die by the time we're 65. That's the problem. 80% of baby boomers and people living in those homes that have no idea what they need to do to try to make them safer. But with the technologies that we have now, the advances in medicine and healthcare, things like that, we're going to live. I was just telling Kyle earlier, hey, dude, you're going to make it to 100. Unless you do something stupid, you're going to make it to 100. And David is right. There are people right now who are pretty clear that if you can live for 30 years, the technology, the way it's evolving, you can pretty much decide when you want to die. Because aging is a disease. We medically know that now. Aging is a disease, and we can manage it and control it. So when I was walking out of the nursing home with my mom's stuff, I thought what happened to my mom was a fluke. How bizarre. She was healthy as a horse a year ago. Now she's dead in the nursing home. And this head nurse looked at me and said, "Honey," it's in the South, right? "Honey, what are you saying?" I said, "Well, my mom was healthy a year ago. She fell and hurt herself. Now she's dead in the nursing. That's a fluke." "What's that, 1 in a million?" She goes, "No, honey. Why do you think your mom had to wait for a bed to open up? Why do you think there's already somebody else in her bed? This is an epidemic." That's exactly the way she said it. "This is an epidemic." I'm like, whoa, I never thought of that. Well, think about it for a second. We have people who live in space. We just rescued 2 people who have been up in space for 9 months. I can take this little piece of plastic over here and talk to my daughter visually video call in Amsterdam. You know, we have all this huge technology. Why do we have this epidemic of people falling and injuring themselves? So we have, the statistics are pretty significant, all right? 3 million seniors are treated. Think about the cost of health care. Think about, as a social issue, what is this doing to our economy? So when I talk to people like Kyle and say, okay, you're going to make it to 100, David, you're going to make it to 100. The only question is, how much health care are you going to consume between here and there? How much of your vitality and your vigor and your ability to contribute to life are you going to be able to maintain and manage between point A and point B? That's really the key. And it's a huge social issue. My mom, when she got home from the hospital, had over $35,000 in uninsured medical expenses. My parents had to take out a reverse mortgage to stay in the home. When she went into the hospital, just like Jim was talking, they had to spend themselves into poverty to be able to get any help. So here I am, and people ask me, George, you're a lawyer, you've been a general contractor since the mid-70s, I'm a serial entrepreneur. Why walk in bathtubs? Why walk in bathtubs? Let me tell you something. I didn't pick it. I didn't choose it. I don't know if you're spiritual, religious, whatever, but I think I was meant to be doing this. And I didn't quite get it with my mom. You know, the universe is going, hello, hello, hello. I didn't quite get it. But then when I went through it with my dad, bing, light went off. I got it. So I didn't start a walk-in bathtub company. I'm trying to help my dad, remember? And I see this TV commercial. Ed McMahon selling these things called walk-in bathtubs. And it was like The Price is Right, man. It was just amazing. It was, oh, this is going to be great. And I look at that and I'm going, well, maybe that'll help Dad stay at home. So I call. And it was like aluminum siding sales. In-home, high-pressure sales, one-call close, all the gimmicks. This was 20 years ago. $20,000. 20 years ago, right? Well, let me tell you something. You want to talk about market, and I'm going to try to put this into a context. There are multiple opportunities. In-home caregiving is just an example of the business opportunities that are percolating and evolving right now, right? So, what do? I didn't start a walk-in bathtub company. I started speaking, doing seminars, writing, doing videos. And I'm telling people, look, you need to be proactive about your aging. You need to be doing something. And by the way, when I saw my first walk-in bathtub, I went, wow, what an amazing piece of engineering. I swear to God, if my mom had had that, she'd probably still be here. Amazing. But why are they selling it like used cars and aluminum siding? Why do they stick it in like washing machines? Why is it so damned expensive? I've been a contractor for many, many years, right? And I'm going, it's about profit. It's about profiteering. When the consumer's not educated enough about a new technology, they're apt to be taken advantage of. And I'm going to tell you right now, it has not changed in 20 years. As we speak, Jacuzzi, American Standard, Kohler, Safe Step, they all use mass media advertising, lead generation, companies to generate leads for them, and it's all one call close, high pressure sale in the living room. It's horrible. So as we think about business opportunity, would you buy aluminum siding from a door-to-door salesman? Would you buy a set of knives or encyclopedias from somebody that came to your door? That market is going to explode. It's been 20 years I've been watching this, okay? And I've been waiting for the timing. And I'll tell you right now, I think the main factor is now we're on an exponential knowledge path, especially with AI and the new technologies that are coming into the marketplace. Those companies are not going to be able to sell product that way. It's going to go away. It's like a balloon that's about to pop. Where are all those people going to go? I started learning about natural healing processes. And I've trademarked medical hydrotherapy. We are the only walk-in bathtub company in the country that ever thought about teaching people there are natural healing. If I've got a deep soaking appliance in your home, now there's a whole new, man, balneotherapy, fangotherapy, there are all kinds of processes that I can do to naturally help me deal with my aging process, right? And we're very big around that. But kind of to Jim's point again, I'm like 4 or 5 years into this, and I'll tell you something. Baby boomers control a lot of money, and we don't finance. Why? Don't need it. 98% of the people we deal with will write a check. They have the money. They want it. They need it. Now, there's a segment that financing helps. That's fine. But then we've got that lower segment. For years, I'd come out of dealing and meeting somebody, huge need, want it. Oh my God, it was horrible, heartbreaking. No money. They're indigent. They're low income. Medicaid. Walk-in bathtubs are a luxury. They're not a necessity. So how do you deal with that? I'm a lawyer. I think about it. You ever listen to the end of a pharmaceutical advertisement? At the end, the last words they say, ask your doctor if Lipitor is right for you. And I'm a lawyer, right? And I'm going, every word in that ad is in there for a reason. Why are they saying that? Okay, that's a medical necessity. That's the whole point. Our pharmaceutical is medically necessary because doctors are recommending it. So I just started having every one of my customers get a prescription from your doctor, and they would prescribe it. It took me a few years, but finally Medicaid said, you know what? These are a medical necessity. They're not a luxury. We're going to cover it. So what happened was I started another company, Empower Home Solutions. Now we're talking whole house home modifications. The bathroom is the tip of the iceberg, and that's the most dangerous. I tell people it's the most dangerous 10 square feet on earth, next to landmines and sinkholes. But you understand what I'm saying, right? That is, if you've got limited resources, that's the place to start. But now we can help the whole house. Now we can help people that are low income and indigent. This is a booming segment, by the way, this third-party pay segment. And let me tell you something. When I got into the Medicaid program, started looking at it, you think Doge has got their hackles up about other things that are going on? The Medicaid arena is really ripe. I mean, there's a lot of fraud, there's a lot of abuse, there's a lot of waste. And when I got in the middle of that, I couldn't stand it. I was going crazy. There are people in the Medicaid program who hate me, and there are people who love me. Because I was all about, you're wasting so much money. These people would have to wait 18 months just to get services. It's ridiculous. So I was I shook the tree a little bit, right? But it's a good thing. And as we evolve along, and as the market evolves along, then I started realizing we really want to be education-based. It's not just home modifications, it's everything. So I started a podcast and a radio show 8 or 9 years ago, being young at any age. We started developing educational-based programming and content to help people about longevity and health and vibrancy all these new technologies that are coming down. And we started, in honor of my parents, a nonprofit, the Bentley Wellness Foundation, which is focused on one thing, and that is educating everybody who's interested about all the new cutting-edge longevity technologies and sciences and resources that are out there for us. And it's a community. The idea is creating a community. We all have different passions and purposes and places that we play in this, but we can all help each other. It's a force multiplier. Help us help as many people as we can. My company mission is to save 1 million lives. Save 1 million lives. Now, I've saved a few, but not 1 million. Not yet. I can't do it without other people. And that's the main reason I'm here, okay? Being young at any age, I mentioned a radio show and a podcast. We're headed towards a rapid exponential growth in terms of technology in the home as well as our healthcare. We are going to have AI-driven homes. It's hard to even imagine, but it's very exciting if you stop and you think about where we're headed and the need. By 2030, we're going to have 1 in 5 Americans are going to be over the age of 65. And by 2050, that's going to double. So this is not a market that is going away. And I'm going to tell you one other thing that might surprise you. We do no advertising. Bentley Baz does no advertising. I did in the early days. You've seen some of the commercials, and they were always infomercial based, right? Trusted advisor has always been our branding. I stopped advertising before COVID. The only way we find people is word of mouth, or how did you find me?
Off a YouTube video.
You saw me on the internet. Not a lead accumulation process that, I'm just trying to get your information. No, just the opposite, right? So for 20 years, we've been looking on branding and trusting and educating, right? So we have a track record, we have a brand, and we have a need. Why have I not scaled? Because I do not want to be what these other people in the market are. I don't want to be strictly a for-profit operation. Direct in-home sales, just not my thing. I don't like it. I don't think it's consumer-oriented. I really think education is the way to go. And I think we have a market that's starting to look for that. And that's why this is a multi-channel. The revenue sources and the way we can make money in this market today are multiple tiered. I mean, I've got 4 here. There's easily 100, right? But just think about direct to consumer. I need a ramp, I need a lift, I need to do something in my bathroom, I need in-home care, I need all of these services and products that are consumed by the consumer, direct to the consumer. They need somebody to help guide the families and the individuals through that decision-making process. That's my belief. How do I know if this person is really the right home caregiver for my family? How do I vet them? My dad became an employer at the age of 84. He had to hire and fire and interview in the hospital. My mom had hospital psychosis. She had to be watched 24/7 while she was in there, right? Now my dad was an employer, not what he wanted to be doing. So we have all this technology coming down the pipeline, and we're positioned with the branding. Again, it isn't any one thing. It's the entire market, okay? So now is the time, I think, in my mind. I've been looking at this entire market for a long time. And I believe that primarily I think with the advent of AI, it's going to shift everything. And I firmly believe in a very positive way. We're going to have automated homes. We're going to be able to monitor people remotely. I've invested in 2 different companies that are remote healthcare technology-based companies. We don't have to have a caregiver come in and take your blood pressure and do this and do that. Technology is going to help us do that, but we've got to build that. You follow me? It's here, but we got to make sure we guide it in the right way. And that takes a broad base of passion, a broad base of interest, and a broad base of products and services. It isn't any one thing. So walk-in tubs, home modifications. Is it the Medicaid angle that interests you, the third-party pay? I'm working with companies right now that are focused specifically on third-party pay and bringing high efficiency and high value to the government, our taxpayers' dollars, doing it the right way. And I think they're just going to grow exponentially. We've had people like David that are okay, I see this, what do I do? How do I do this? And I would suggest to you just, what is your passion? Do you like the idea of working with the government? Do you like helping people individually? Are you more on the product side, the service, in-home, helping people with construction, remodel? What is it? We're all different. Right now, I think it's a wide open market. There have been people kind of nibbling around this for a long time. And as Jim pointed out, there are people that are making a lot of money doing this. And I don't know if I'm ready for this. Did I skip that slide? I wanted to give you some statistics, and the only reason I focus on walk-in bathtubs the way I do is because I know that market. I know that market. And I'm going to tell you right now, you take the big names, Safe Step American Standard, Kohler, Jacuzzi, those companies, through their lead generation, high pressure process, they sell about 2,500 walk-in tub projects a month. They average about $22,000 each. Okay? I had the numbers here somewhere. I don't know that I can do math, but I think it's like $55 million a month. And then you take the ancillary businesses. Those are your durable medical equipment people, your handymen, folks like that are like, they're also providing walk-in tubs into the market. They sell about another $1,500 a month, and they average around $15,000 a project. So you add that all together, and just with this one technology, safe bathing appliances, $77 million a month. Okay, I mean that's no SpaceX, but that's pretty significant. But back to my point, I think that balloon is going to pop. I think we're going to have an awakening amongst the consumers that are going, I'm not falling prey to this anymore. Don't send some fat, lazy son of a gun into my living room to sit on my sofa for 3 hours and manipulate me into spending my last dollars to try to buy this product from you. I just think it's going to go away. And what's going to happen in that void? I think that's where we want to sit. I think that's exactly where we want to sit. And it's taken 20 years to get here. But I think that's where we are. Okay, so this is a right now, in my mind, opportunity. It's a seize the day kind of thing, and I'm looking for people that are like-minded in that regard. And I don't care what your passion is. I don't care what your purpose is. All I care is that you're focused on helping other people. And you have some aspect in this huge arena. It could be longevity. It could be I want to help coach people and teach them and help them create their roadmap for vibrance and health as they age. Our parents are desperate for this right now. Desperate for it. There's no product. We're coaching. We're teaching. We have membership, community, right? And then there's all the different product offerings that we can have. So I'm suggesting to you it's about longevity. It's about human longevity. And longevity isn't a fad, it's the future. It's all of our future. And it's your future.